So today, sitting here getting ready to make some delicious juice from the wonderful abundance of fruits and plants here in Cambodia, where I happen to be hanging out of late. And you know, I went and I cut a bit of the aloe vera because I'm going to use that in my juice here today. And I was reminded of my time living in the ants, man. The ants love the marapos. I'm not sure why that is, but they really love them. Anyway, so I was reminded of living in Beijing, where I had to have been at least 20 aloe veras. I got into this like obsession growing aloe veras. I originally got one big one. It was like huge. It was like about this big. It was a monster of an aloe vera. Beautiful. And it eventually had these little smaller aloe veras that came off of it, little shoots or whatever. And I read online that, you know, you gotta pull them out because if you don't, they kind of suck the mother dry. And so I pulled these out, and there were a lot of them, and I started sort of taking care of them and growing aloe vera. And I guess I'm thinking about it now because I have this here. I have just this one aloe vera. It's this beautiful plant just down at the bottom of the stairs there. And I got it because I had an accident. A little bit of drinking and scootering. Not a good idea, ever, really. And I had a bit of an accident. I scraped myself up pretty good on the left side. And I you know, wanted to heal up, and so I got some aloe veras. You know, everyone knows it's very good for the skin, right, and healing. So I got this one plant, and I was surprised at how well the aloe vera plant grew. I mean, it's, you know, it's the climate, gets the right amount of rain and sun, certainly. We have it in the shade a little bit, so it gets not too much light, and it grows beautifully. And so at a certain point, I'm like, you know, I gotta kind of cut the older leaves off because I don't think it grows as well if you don't. It seems to be, you know, that's the case. And so I cut off every now and again, or I was when I was healing up, but now not anymore. So I was afraid that it was going to, you know, kind of not grow well, given the pot, the size it's in. Hold on one second. And so I decided, well, shit, maybe start eating it, right? Start eating it because maybe that's a good way to use it up. And just once in a while, you know, it's not very tasty. Aloe vera is pretty bitter. So decided, okay, start eating it. That's moringa, by the way. Also not very tasty in its powdered form, anyway. So I started to, you know, start eating it. Yeah. And this kind of, as I'm, you know, kind of preparing today, I'm thinking about this, and I'm remembering my place in Beijing. And I had all that aloe vera, and in the end, you know, like it just kind of grew, and I never really used it. You know, I mean, it was beautiful to have the plants around, but also, you know, as I reflect, kind of a waste that I didn't take advantage of these, you know, beautiful plants that I could have been eating it. I wasn't really. We had a friend once that got mad sunburned, and we gave her a couple of these, but in general, we just didn't use it. And so, you know, it occurred to me that we have this habit, humans, you know, of wasting abundance. And, you know, that's probably in a way a cliche. You think about, you know, environmentalism and its critique of modern, ooh, that's not good. There's a passion fruit that's gone a little bit moldy, so I'm getting rid of that. See, wasted abundance right there. Luckily though, I've got some fresh ones. And so, you know, got kind of thinking about the unfortunate sort of circumstances of wasting, you know, the abundances that we have. And I'm like, so why do we do that, right? So I'm thinking, why do we have this remarkable abundance, amazing abundance, which of course we do. I mean, we're lucky here in Cambodia. There's, a tropical climate, things you grow very, very well. So why do we do this? Why do we have these nice abundances and even know about, how to use them? Like I knew that, aloe vera I could eat it. I ate it a couple of times in Beijing, but not regularly or anything. That I could have, right? And in the end, the plants I had, we left them to the care of somebody else, and they didn't really take care of them so well, and they just all kind of withered and died, which is fucking tragic, really. Because I love those plants. So maybe that's part of it, right? Maybe there's a kind of a love or a connection we have to the things that we have, that we own. And so that makes us reluctant to kind of use them, especially, like something like an aloe vera plant, right? Maybe it was just a kind of a conditioning to thinking of it as more ornamental than, something that I could use productively. So maybe it was that, Then I thought, well, maybe it's a kind of a fear that keeps us from using things that we have, Like we have something and we don't want to lose it. Because of course you use something up, that's kind of connected to the whole idea of having something. You have to maintain it. You have to keep it. It's like, you have a nice car and you have to maintain it in good condition, a nice pair of leather shoes. You got to treat them or else, they go to shit, right? So maybe that's the other thing, like we're fearful of losing the things we have, especially in a world driven by, consumption, of having, the status of having. We're fearful of losing that, falling back into a less sort of rich status, less having less things, sort of thing. Wind here is great. It's a very blustery day today. And then there's that other part, that other thing about, having things. There's a status that goes along with it. And there is this kind of also, I think, there's this kind of obsession to accumulate, right? It's like a pack rat, kind of hoarding attitude towards the things we have. And so maybe that's part of it too, right? Like it's complicated, yeah? Dragon fruit, mad good. And so we hoard because we just kind of get into a habit of having things. We get into a habit. You see really messy here. Yeah, extremely messy. There we go. Just gonna carve this bad boy open. And so it's not just for status. It's not having things. I mean, that's obviously another part of it. Status, being known as somebody who has things, and I suppose I kind of like that about the plants that I had. I like people to think of me as somebody who had a lot of beautiful plants and cared for the plants, and so there was that too. It affords, our possessions, the things we have, afford us a kind of a status. So that was part of it. And so in the end of the day, just a kind of reflection on the things we have and how that kind of makes us lose them, in a way. Because not using something, I think in a more natural or traditional sort of just sense of being human and like moving through the world and making use of the things you have, not just holding them there, not putting them on display. It's our attitude like in so many things. Like art, right? We think about art. Another thing that we like to possess, right? Another thing that we like to hoard. And I don't mean just individually, obviously, private collectors. Not many of us are rich enough to own a at Degas or Van Gogh, but we have this tendency, even as a culture, where we value things that we can hold in a gallery, put up on a wall, and admire. What some people might refer to as dead art, you know? And that's kind of what I mean, you know? Like, we have these things, they're ours, they're in our possession, but they're still in a way kind of, we're not really living, they're not alive, we're not using them in a way. Especially things that can be used, you know? Using them in a way that like, what do I say, not gives meaning. I mean, I guess maybe it kind of gives meaning to the existence of the thing, the use of it, if that implies a kind of a meaning. Yeah, you want to go easy on this. The aloe vera in the juice, I gotta say, you don't want to hit too much of it. It's as I said, quite bitter, and so you want to use this sparsely, right? Which is fine, which is good, because I only have one plant here, so it's good to have just the one plant, right? I think maybe that's it's a good way to kind of, I guess, I don't know, I'm just thinking about this now, it's a good way to kind of think about, you know, like avoiding that sort of wasted abundance. I mean, you just not having so much of it. I mean, like, it was kind of crazy. I had so many of those. I had like 20 of those things all over the apartment. And they were beautiful and they were nice to have, but I mean, it was like kind of a waste, you know? I did give some away, which was nice. It was nice to kind of, I think that's a useful use of abundance, giving things away. It's like a gift to the Magi, O. Henry, that kind of idea. They were the wisest of all, right? That kind of thing plays into it as well. Well, yeah, almonds. Surprising how well this minces them. So maybe that's it, you know? Maybe that's a way out of the whole abundance, the wasting of abundance is, you know, just have a few, just have a modest amount, right? And then things don't get wasted, you know? Because I got an issue with that, you know? Like, I hate, and, you know, I suppose it's my parenting, you know? My parents didn't want me to waste food. That was always a big thing. I'm sure a lot of people have had that, you know? There's a shame kind of associated with wasting things, abundance or otherwise, but especially when you have, and yeah, I think that it is connected to the abundance, because, you know, there's always other people don't have, right? Starving children, Africa, wherever, right? And so that idea of not wanting to waste it is tied to a kind of guilt or shame when we do it. But then, this is the thing that, you know, like I don't kind of get all the time, is that we persist in that sort of, I can call it folly, that wastefulness. You know, like, I mean, I had that value, you know, I had that value of not wanting to waste things, especially food, you know, which is, you know, that's what aloe vera is, really. It's a potentially kind of food, among other things. So I had that, right? But I still did it, you know? I did it anyway. I knew I had that value. My parents had taught me that, not to waste. But I did it anyway. And so, like, we kind of get into these habits, these behavioral sort of patterns. And it's hard to step back from those, you know? It's that learned thing. I guess we learn a lot of things, and some of them are in, you know, conflict with each other. Yes. Ooh, yeah. Exactly where I wanted it. I don't know if you caught that on camera, but I fucking squirted half of that onto the table. So yeah, I guess in the end of the day, this particular reflection, you know, like, I mean, I think having just a limited amount, you know, not just collecting and having things for the various reasons I mentioned, but having just a small amount. I think maybe that's key, right? Okay. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Little water, because obviously that's not gonna mulch down very easily. Oh goodness me! Where's my water? What do you think? Does that look like enough? Should be okay, I think. Let's see. Let's see how that works out. Now, the first time I did this, I put in like a huge leaf. Like you noticed how much I put in this last time. It's just like that much, right? First time I did it, we're gonna save that one for next time. And it just about killed me. I had to add sugar. And I don't like adding sugar to my juices. Alrighty, let's give this a try. Whoa, wind's kicking up out there. The moringa, ooh yeah, moringa aftertaste. A couple of seconds after, kicks in. But you barely, oh no, there it was. Yeah, I got it a little bit later, the aloe vera as well. But, all in all, pretty fucking good.